If one is a migrant, definitely today's topic is one that is of concern, whether you're still back home or you're abroad, because the UK government, through its Home Secretary, Shabana Mahmood, has officially announced at their conference yesterday that the UK government is looking at extending the indefinite to remain route from 5 years to 10 years. Of course, this is concerning, especially if one is a migrant and already in the UK or wanting to relocate to the UK. And I will be breaking down in this video why it is of concern, why everyone is so concerned and so worried as migrants in this community. And this has got nothing to do with whether you are legal or whatever, because this is affecting everybody and it's official. Without wasting much of your time, a big welcome to my YouTube channel. For those of you that do not know me, my name is Florence, and on this platform we do talk about life in the diaspora, life abroad. We talk about the things that affects us as migrants, be it policies, be it changes in immigration rules. We also talk about opportunities not only for the UK but everywhere else across the divide, across the globe, because we believe in relocation. We believe so much in the opportunities that are abroad. So that's what we do on this platform, and a big welcome and a big thank you to those of you who are subscribers on this channel. We value you. So let's get right into it. So in this video we are going to be talking about the things that we know, also the things as well that are quite gray areas, what we don't know, and also we love to plan ahead. As a platform, as a migrant in the UK, I love to plan ahead because there's nothing new under the sun. All these things that we're seeing, this has happened before and this will continue to happen, and the only people who will survive all these changes over time are those that plan ahead. So also we are going to be sharing what we can do in the meantime while this changes, this wave of concerning changes, especially for migrants in the UK, are happening. There is something that you can do. There is actually things that we can do as a community and individually as well, and we're going to be sharing in this video. So all the more reasons why you need to subscribe onto this platform. You need to share this video with your friends, with your loved ones, so that they stay connected, they stay in the loop, they stay knowing what is happening and what other fellow migrants are doing. And also don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done so. We value you. We want to grow our family, so join us, be a part of this relocation tribe. So yes, the Home Secretary Shabana Mahmood yesterday confirmed that obviously they are going to be changing the indefinite leave to remain route from the 5-year route to a 10-year route. However, consultations are going to happen before they can actually let us know when they will implement this. One of the things that are sticking points, or that we need to know as migrants, is the fact that this consultation is not about whether or not to implement this. Definitely, they've confirmed they want that route changed from 5 years to 10 years. That's what they want. It's a fact. And I know if you haven't watched a video that I did previously, please go and watch it, because this is at the backdrop of what Nigel Farage, a political competitor to the current government, has said about indefinite leave to remain, wanting to abolish it completely. But however, the current government is taking a different approach, a different stance altogether, which is why I want us to pay attention as migrants. And I'm going to be sharing more videos, sharing my thoughts as far as it is concerned, because there are things to compare between Nigel Farage's proposal and what the current government is wanting to implement. So in this consultation, we all now know that it's coming. The 5-year route thing is coming to an end, and we're entering a 10-year route, indefinite leave to remain. However, in this consultation, some of the things that we now know that they're going to be doing is to iron out the details, to try and see how to implement this plan. Also, through these consultations, we are also then going to know who it's going to affect. Is it going to affect the people who are already on the indefinite leave to remain pathway? Is it going to affect people that are already in the country? There are other things that the Home Secretary said, and I'm going to share them in this video later on. So all the more reasons why you need to watch this until the end. Also, we are going to know then after this consultation when this will start. So for those, some of you are already on the pathway, some are already due to apply for the indefinite leave to remain. Don't give up yet. Plan for it, have the funds for it, have the documentation and the paperwork in place for it, because dates haven't been set yet. It hasn't been made a policy or a law. It's still subject to consultation. So how this will affect or who will be affected, we are yet to know, and we will cover it on this channel as soon as we know. I've always said it on this platform that part and parcel of why I'm so invested in sharing this is because I am also on the pathway to indefinite leave to remain. I came to the country in 2022. So I'm now in my 4th year. And these changes couldn't have come at a time when you have been counting down. And I've been meaning to make a video on why indefinite leave remain would be so key if you're a migrant and you're in the UK. I still am going to make that video so that people are aware of why it's of significance, why we are always on about it, why a lot of people are downcast at the moment now that it's been confirmed, now that we all know that it is coming. So the Home Secretary actually mentioned a few pointers as to who will be affected, and these will guide the consultation phase that they are going to go into before they can then set the dates for implementation. Part and parcel of the things that she said yesterday, she mentioned the fact that some people will be exempt from total change into the 10-year route based on their earnings, their contribution, criminal record, or DBS, or lawfulness whilst you're staying in the country. Those are some of the things that will determine whether or not then you will obtain your indefinite leave to remain earlier. So it's not all doom and gloom. It's not going to be a blanket cover for everybody. No wonder why for some they will be spared based on what they do, based on their financial contribution, based on the nature of jobs that they do. Also, part and parcel of the things that they mentioned is the fact that the English language is going to be a key player in determining who qualifies earlier for indefinite leave to remain. And it's unfortunate, part and parcel of the things that she mentioned is the fact that, and for some people, for a certain group of people, they will never be eligible for indefinite leave to remain. But we're yet to see when the final policy comes into play, when the final policy gets implemented. At the moment, we're just waiting on the consultations that are coming into play. For migrants like myself, what this means then is the fact that our journey or your journey, depending on your circumstances in the diaspora, to permanent settlement in this country, to attain citizenship in this country, will look different in the next few months, in the next few years. And also, this is something that I always say, if you are looking into relocating to the UK at some point, it's a beautiful country, lovely country, amazing, beautiful people. However, there are changes that are coming into play. And for some of us who are already in the UK, it's disheartening. It's a change we didn't anticipate, because when we were choosing the UK as our second home was the fact that, oh, I'm on a 5-year to indefinite leave to remain pathway. However, things change. We've seen changes coming into play, changes coming into policy along the lines. So we're yet to see. However, the most important question a lot of people have been asking me, and also that has made me to make this video, and that is making me anxious about the whole thing, is the fact that will this affect people that are already on the pathway to indefinite leave to remain, people that are migrants that are already in the country? However, the answer to this, nobody knows, because it hasn't been outlined. When the Home Secretary was announcing these changes and confirming that it's coming into play, she didn't specifically say, she didn't mention anything to do with those already on the pathway. So whether or not it will affect them, we don't know. We've been spared on a lot of changes, and this is very important. If you're watching and you've watched until this end, there's something that is very important I want to mention. We've been spared on a lot of things. A lot of things have changed along the lines. I'll just give you a quick flashback. Last year in spring 2024, in April, they implemented the fact that if one was coming on a care worker visa, they were no longer allowed to bring dependents. However, if one was already in the country and their dependents were still abroad, they were exempt from that. My fingers are a bit crossed. And for those of you who have always been on this platform, who started with us, I'm a very optimistic person. I love to look on the positive side of things. It does keep me going. And if you ever find yourself feeling despaired and feeling down, just try looking at the positive side of things. So we are hoping and trusting. Also, just earlier this year, when they introduced the white paper policy and were banning, or when they closed the skilled worker route for people on a care worker visa, when the visa came to an end, one of the things that stood out, or one of the questions was, would this affect us that are already in the country? And guess what? We were spared. Why and how is the fact that people are still allowed to switch jobs. People are still allowed to renew visas and apply for the skilled worker visas, but only if you're already in the country. So this is one of the sticking points. This is one of the questions being asked by everybody. And we do hope that things will go in favor of those that are already in the country, already on the pathway. And of course, subject to all the changes that they are proposing, subject to all of these qualifying criteria. At least it's fair for people to meet criteria rather than to say completely, oh, that which we had said you're eligible for, you are no longer eligible for. You put it in the comments what you think. Is it a fair thing? Also put in the comments whether or not you think it will affect those that are already in the pathway, or this will affect those that will relocate to the UK after the announcement. Put it in the comments. Let's keep the conversation going. What's your feeling? What's your take as far as this announcement, this confirmation is concerned? So also another sticking point or another question that a lot of people are raising is the fact that, of course, they mentioned contribution, but what do they mean by contribution? Is contribution just based on your monetary earnings? If you're working and you're earning, will that only be the criteria? Do you need to tick all the boxes or fit all the criteria like contribution, volunteering, how you've been living, character and things like that? Or they will look at least one of those things. Also, is English going to be a part and parcel of the qualifying criteria? That's another question as well. And the one thing that's giving me hope is the fact that all these things are going into consultation. And I think I'll make another video because already stakeholders, already other players like charities have already written to the Home Secretary concerning this, raising their concerns, raising as well proposal and how this would affect everybody. And just this morning I was listening again to the Health Secretary West Streeting when he was addressing their conference. He pointed out a few interesting things, and one of the things that he reiterated was the fact that they are prioritizing healthcare workers, especially and in that note he highlighted the importance of the migrant healthcare workers. So whether or not that is part and parcel of the things that they will consider, part and parcel of the decision-making criteria, that and keyword may favor us as migrants who are already in the country. The third question that is on everybody's mind is the fact that will they exempt certain groups of people based on other criteria, because we are not just talking about people that came to the country to work, even people that came as refugees, even people with certain special circumstances. Will they then still affected? Nothing yet is so clear. These are just questions, and we will know after the consultation whether or not these people will be exempt. This include also people that are vulnerable. This also include families. If you're a family member of somebody who is already settled in the country, would this affect you? I know a lot of people who are married to British citizens. Will they be affected? So whether or not they will only know after the consultation. So we are in a very difficult and exciting season as migrants. It's so unfortunate. There's so many things at play at the minute. And I always say there are two things happening here. This is from a migrant perspective, and I'm not being political in any way. There is the side of functionality, moving the country forward, making things work every day, and also politics is at play. Whether functionality and forecast to move the nation forward will win or politics will win, we don't know. Whichever way it goes, as a migrant, it affects you. As a migrant, you are affected. As a migrant, unfortunately, you are not spared. Many would want to know why this matters and what is it that we can do. This is not just about policy change, unfortunately. This is about people's lives. This is about somebody's future. This is about people's dreams. Just last night, I was on a call with a friend, and one of the things that they asked, so even our children is migrants. The 10-year route, if someone's child came when they were 15 or when they were 18 and they were due to go into university, how many people will afford to pay university fees for their children? What that means is it's a dream, it's a future just wasted, a future affected. So many children with so much potential, with so many big dreams. And why I say that is because part and parcel of why we relocated, to be very honest, is we came for the opportunities. We came to present our children with opportunities to make a difference to the wider world. Not just their own lives, because if they go on to study, go on to get a career, what they go on then to do is contribute to the wider world. But in these instances, how many people will afford to send their child to university. Why did I mention that? It's because if one is on a temporary visa, if one is on a skilled worker visa, there are restrictions that affect even their earning, that affect even eligibility for home fees. So what that means is lives have just been affected in a big way when it comes to that. However, I always like to leave you with something to think about, something to focus on. What is it that we can do at the minute? At the minute, the only thing that we can do or where we can find consolation is the fact that this is a proposal. Of course, they've confirmed what they want to propose. However, it's going on to consultation. So what you can do is to stay informed. And believe you me, I'm going to be sharing each step of the way, what I think, what we can do, and supporting each other on this platform through sharing videos, through just sharing hope, through saying, I'm still here, I'm still living it, so you're not alone. So that's exactly what we can do. Stay informed, follow the news, subscribe to channels like this one, follow credible migrant support groups. I always give a big shout out to Tulia, Rumi Vunzalbaya, and all the work that they do. Stay on those platforms and stay informed. Also, part and parcel of what we can do, we cannot overemphasize the fact that if it has ever been important for you to stay legal, for you to stay on top of your visa, it is now. Always be in check to see when your visa is expiring or when your visa is due for renewal, so that you put in place everything. You speak to your employer well in advance to say, right, are you renewing or you're not? Or if it means you need to move on to another employer, then you have time. Have those timelines in place. Have those timelines where you can see them. Always be aware that now we are going to stay legal in this country based on a visa. So stay informed. Always, the other thing that we can do is to use our voices. One of the things that I like about migrants, especially in the UK, is they are never shy of speaking up where they feel their voice will contribute to the wider. So these consultations are going out there. If you see a petition around this, sign that petition, raise your voice, and you just never know, through all these consultations, the outcome might then favor us as migrants. Never shy away from raising your concern, speaking up, and using your voice to change the narrative, and in a respectful way, in a way that is conscious of other people's feelings. Just use your voice wisely. Use your voice for the greater good. The other thing that you can do now is the time for us to start planning. There's a difference between planning and panicking. Now you have to revisit that plan. I always say, when we were coming to the UK, we say, well, 5 years, I'll get my indefinite leave to remain. I'll do this and that. But the changes are here. The changes are coming in play. Go back to that plan, go back to that drawing board and readjust. I'm not saying discard the dreams just like that, but readjust the plan. If it means now is the time for you to be thinking, which other countries can I go based on your experience, based on your qualifications, now is the time for you to do that. Sometimes it could be then you starting planning on relocating back home. And I know this is not an easy subject, but it's a subject that we've started on this platform. And after all, it isn't too bad. Where we come from, it isn't too bad. With all the experience that we now have, all the knowledge, and probably for some who have worked a bit longer, some have savings, it's about time that you explore all the options. It's about time that you think of what can work for you tomorrow. Are you one of those who want to wait around in the country, or you're one of those that will say, well, I think I'll stick around for 2 years and then I'll move on? But like I said, these changes, we see changes. And one of the things that I love to say and share is the fact that we came to the country because immigration rules changed. So it's not always that the immigration rules will change and they favor us, or the immigration rules will change and we are on the wrong side of it. So it's a time where we have to embrace change. We have to stay informed, stay knowing, and also be adjusting our plans. So do remember that immigration rules will always change regardless of where you are. But there is one thing that will always remain. And it's the fact that those that prepare and plan ahead thrive, will always weather that storm and come out winners. So now is the time for preparation. Now is the time for planning. And also leave it in the comments if you found this video to be useful, and give it a thumbs up so that it reaches so many people, so that we inspire a lot of people, we support other people, and we assure other people that they are not alone in this journey. I'm living it, my family is going through it, and I know a lot of other people with concerns. I've spoken to people and reassured them that whatever the outcome, we're still planning and focusing on the bigger picture, on the purpose, and on the reason why we relocated in the first place. So leave it in the comments what you think as well. Do you think this move from 5 to 10 year rule is fair, especially for those that are already on the pathway? Do you think it will pass? Do you think it will affect us? Leave it in the comments. Let's take the conversation to the comments. Let's hear your thoughts. Leave your thoughts in the comments, and always stay respectful in doing so. So that's all I had for you in this video. And if you are wanting to stay updated ahead of these immigration changes, this is the place to be. Do subscribe, hit the notification bell so that you don't miss out, because we are going to continue listening out and sharing what we think, sharing what is happening around it, because this is just the beginning. The consultation is going ahead, and we will know definitely. So stay on this platform, because we're going to share as and when it happens. That's all I had for you in this video. I'll see you in our next one. Bye.